Middle of the channel, not near the boats or any structure or anything out there. He's just cruising around out in the middle. So let's go back out and see if we can find Mama. He sure hit hard, like there was some competition around it. He just walloped it. I thought he was a lot bigger than he was when he hit. What happens in these marinas, the water's a little warmer, it warms up faster. And the shad come in here and kind of mill around, and the largemouth just come up, kind of easy pickings. We'll go through here with a crankbait, see if we can kind of mimic some of the shad and get a few fish. Oh, oh, there's one. Maybe a better one. Nope, same size. Maybe they're all bunched up in this area. We switched up colors on crankbaits to see if maybe we can get another bite or two. And we switched up to the red crawdad and we got another one. Here we go. Got one on the split shot. Another little one. What I was doing was I was dragging this behind the boat, seeing if I could find any stragglers. The one's right on the bottom, while I was fishing a crankbait out the front. So I do that once in a while when I'm pre-fishing, especially when fishing is tough, just trying to pick up a few fish and figure out what they're doing. A lot of times they'll be doing something different. You know, you'll be throwing a reaction bait in the front and maybe they're on the bottom and they want it moving right nice and slow along the bottom. So you can kind of get the best of both worlds here. But just make sure you have a 2-pole license when you do this, since you're fishing with 2 poles. What I do is I get the split shot or the Carolina rig, something I'm dragging along the bottom that I really don't have to worry too much about it. And I'll set it right here. I'll just kind of set it right there where I can watch it, and then I'll fish a reaction bait out the front. So I'm kind of getting the best of both worlds here. And while we were fishing with the crankbait, it looks like we got bit on the worm dragging out the back. Well, looks like he spit it out. Then we have to put some Procure on there so he can hang on to it. Uh-oh, we got a little dilemma here. We got them on both ends here. Got a little one on the crankbait and one on the worm. Sometimes that happens, but that's a good thing. Let him go. Let's see. Let's see what we got over here. Yeah. Up. And he decided to get off. Well, that was fun. We're just throwing a little 4-inch robo worm, just kind of a bluegill bass colored. These fish really just love this color here. This color and the green winnie are just an awesome color in the Delta, whether you're fishing for largemouth or smallmouth. Here's another one, little runt right out in the middle. They're little, but they're still a lot of fun. This would be a great place to bring your kid and drag a worm around, or a little bobber and a minnow. You know, I'm sure there's a bunch of crappie and bluegill in here also. So great place to bring kids and have a good time. Even though the fish are small, kids usually don't care. You know, we're catching a lot of little ones in here, but that doesn't mean that there's not some good ones. Although most time in the Delta, when you're catching fish, it just shows you that you're in a place that holds a lot of fish, that has the bait, it has all the right stuff. Just something is just not perfect for the day in order to bring those big fish up. You know, there's always those days that you have, and you're just going to go out and catch a bunch of big ones. But a lot of times you just go out and catch some small ones. And what I found is that when you find an area like this that you catch a lot of fish in, you can just keep coming back and sample it every once in a while and find out when those better fish are going to come up and bite. Yeah, I got a little better one on the Carolina rig. So there's a few little better fish in here. Switched up, put a little bigger bait on there and see if we could get a little better fish. It's not a giant, but it's better. Maybe if we keep upsizing the bait, we can keep upsizing the fish. All right, well, we were catching plenty of fish on the split shot, but so I was thinking if I went to a little bit bigger bait, a little heavier duty rig, maybe we could get a little better quality fish in it, and it worked. What we have here is a Carolina rig, and we have a 14-pound main line with a sliding weight, and then we have a glass bead to protect the knot, and then a little swivel. And then I tied a 8-pound line behind it. I use an 8-pound clear line, and then an extra wide gap hook, and we used a beaver instead of that little 4-inch worm, just trying to upsize the bait and get a little better quality fish. You know, the baits we use up here for smallmouth is dictated by the season and the water clarity. We start off from the spring into about midsummer. I'm using craw colors, and then I fade into the shad colors. Now that's not to say I won't try one or the other. If you're using a shad color and they're not biting, switch up to a craw color. When the fish are shallow, like 2 or 3 or 4 feet, you can't beat this speed trap. This is just an awesome bait, and if you can see just by looking at this one has caught a bunch of smallmouth. But sometimes these fish will go a little bit deeper, and then when that happens, we switch up to Radar 10. You notice that has a little bigger bill, dives to about 6 or 7 feet deep. If they're even deeper than that, we switch up to Radar 13, which dives to about 8 or 9 feet, and that's what we were using today. Here's a little speed trap by Lure Jensen. Now this is the same color as the crawfish up here in the river. They're a little bit different than the majority of the rest of the Delta. We have the crawfish up here, kind of a light brown color, and then they have blue, especially underneath their claws are all blue color. And those crawfish live like from 5 to about 30 feet deep, depending on how deep the rocks are. So in the rest of the Delta, you have these color crawfish, and these are the crawfish that come out of the rice ponds and the wheat fields. You know, when you see all the pipes running and there's a lot of crawfish around those, these are the ones that get pumped right out of those pipes, is this color craw. Now these color craw live shallow, and they probably start hibernating about this time. And the other crawfish, the brown and blue ones, these live in a colder water, so they're still active now, even when the water's down about 45 degrees. Here we have the Bass Angler's Guide. I'm the editor and publisher of this magazine. It's a magazine full of articles for the angler. We have tips from the back of the boat for your first pro-am. A lot of things to help you become a better bass angler. We've been doing this since 1991. And also inside the magazine, we have a bass tournament calendar that lists all the tournaments on the West Coast. We have about 600 events listed. Bass is king.
Don't miss the next edition of Bass Angler's Guide. For complete Western tournament information, go to bassanglersguide.com to order. The best boats on the water are at Galaxy Marine in Newcastle. The Pro's Choice Triton boats by Earl Bent take comfort and performance to the next level. Skeeter bass boats, fast, sleek, and stable, engineered like no other. And Duckworth, absolutely the highest quality premium aluminum fishing boats on the market. Triton, Skeeter, and Duckworth. Find them all at Galaxy Marine, where you can always count on the best service, best boats, and best people. Visit the Galaxy Marine showroom today at 9700 Hillview Road, Newcastle. Take I-80 to the Highway 193 exit. On any day, arriving safely is most important. That's why the engineers at Research Machine Development have created this trailer safety device that uses an inflation device like an airbag to prevent disaster when a trailer's leaf springs fail. You might own the best American-made boat, but your leaf springs were shipped in from overseas, and they're failing at a phenomenal rate. Made in America, the trailer safety device installs easily on any trailer, Call 408-988-1785 for more information.
The RMD trailer safety device is a little bit of insurance that I do appreciate.
Hey, thanks for watching Galaxy Marine's True Bass. And if you'd like your very own copy of today's episode or any other episode, just stop in at Galaxy Marine and ask for a free DVD. Compliments of Galaxy Marine.
Came